Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at respectful speech in Japanese, otherwise known as Keigo. And the use of respectful speech or Keigo is essential in the hospitality industry. Anyone who hopes to work in the industry using Japanese must master the respectful forms. Visitors to Japan will be addressed in respectful language many times a day by announcers on stations and buses, waiters, shop assistants, tour guides. It's necessary, therefore, to at least understand Keigo. Now, Keigo is not only used in the service and hospitality industries, it is also used to show respect for senior colleagues and important visitors. So even if you visit Japan as a student, it is quite possible that you'll be welcome to a party in your honor by someone using Keigo. So the following is a list of Keigo expressions you already know. We have the honorific prefixes o or go, and they are used with certain nouns. For example, o namaye or go kekkon. And we also have honorific suffixes, for example, san or sama. And they're used after people's names and titles. For example, otou-sama, okaa-sama, yamada-sama, so on and so forth. Now, if we attach the character o to a verb stem, this shows respect for the person addressed. For example, o agari kudasai or o tsukare desho. And the greeting ohayou gozaimasu is actually the honorific form of hayai desu. So respect for the person addressed can also be shown by using honorific verbs for their actions and modest or humble verbs for the speaker's actions. There are various ways to make all verbs respectful. So here in pink, we can see that we have the neutral or polite form of the verb. In the middle, in yellow, we have the honorific form of the verb. And on the end in blue, we have the humble or modest form of the verb. So the neutral or polite form of the verb is typically a safe option. But if we need to be more formal or polite in a situation, then we can refer to the honorific form of that verb. And if we wish to speak more modestly or humbly about our own actions, we can use the column on the end here in blue. So the honorific form of ikimasu is irashaimasu or oide ni narimasu. And the humble or modest form of the same thing is mairimasu. The honorific form of a verb in its te form followed by imasu is the verb still in its te form but instead replaced with irashaimasu. Or if we wish to be more humble or modest, te orimasu. Now the verb iimasu is replaced in its honorific form with oshaimasu, or in its humble form, moshimasu. The verb shimasu in its honorific form is nasaimasu, or in its humble form, itashimasu. The verbs tabemasu and nomimasu in their honorific Keigo form is meshiagarimasu, or in its humble or modest form, itadakimasu. The verb shiteimasu in its honorific form is gozonji desu, or in its humble or modest form, zonjiteimasu. The verb mimasu in its honorific form is goran ni narimasu, or in its humble form, haiken shimasu. The verb kikimasu, in this case to ask, is otazune ni narimasu, or in its humble form, ukagaimasu. The verb arimasu doesn't have an honorific equivalent, but its humble form is gozaimasu. And finally, desu in its honorific form is de irashaimasu, or in its humble form, de gozaimasu. Now please note, in formal situations, when referring to a person, use kata, not hito. For example, do you know a person who can speak Japanese? Nihongo ga dekiru kata wo gozonji desu ka? So as we can see back here on our verb chart, the verb shiteimasu is replaced with the honorific form gozonji desu. So apart from the verbs that have special honorific and humble forms, most other verbs can be made honorific or humble in the following way. So if we need to make a verb honorific, we simply attach o to the verb stem and we finish with ni narimasu. Or we attach go to the suru verb and we finish with, again, ni narimasu. For example, you called, sir. Oyobi ni narimashita ka? So we have here the sound o attached to the verb stem yobi, which comes from the verb yobimasu. So we've just dropped off the mas and we've attached ni narimashita ka. Oyobi ni narimashita ka? And in our second example, sir explained it. Go setsumei ni narimashita. So again, we've got go attached to the start of our suru verb. Setsumei suru means to explain something, but we've dropped off the suru and we've simply attached ni narimasu. Go setsumei ni narimashita. Now, if we wish to be humble or modest, again, we attach o to our verb stem and we attach either shimasu or itashimasu to the end. For example, sorry to keep you waiting. Omatase shimashita or omatase itashimashita. Now, if we wish to change a suru verb, we attach go to the start of our suru verb as we did in the honorific form, and again either attach shimasu or itashimasu. For example, I will guide you, sir. Go annai shimasu or go annai itashimasu. And that comes from the verb annai suru. So in this case, as long as we attach go to the beginning of our suru verb and make sure that our suru verb is in its polite form, shimasu, we don't really need to make too many changes. Otherwise, we can drop off the suru and attach itashimasu instead. Now, most suru verbs have the prefix go instead of o. Common exceptions are verb forms of the following. Benkyō, which becomes o benkyō instead of go benkyō. Denwa, which becomes o denwa. Soji, which is o soji. And ryori, which is o ryori. So that's about all for this topic, but if you have any questions or comments, please let me know.